And I love to sing 3 songs to you because you are so dear.
Hi, my name is Ron English, and I'm going to talk today a little bit about my process and introduce you to some of my characters, and I'm going to show how I use them in different formats, from toys to paintings. So this is kind of my idea man. And here we are at one of my art shows in New York City, and let me just skip through this stuff. Now here's some of the characters in different formats, like as toys and installations, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. But everything always starts with, the first thing I do is make small sculptures and of the different things. So I actually have shelves and shelves full of little objects that I have, so whenever I get ready to set up something, I have a lot of stuff that I can put together into a scene. And at the very end, I'll show you like one of the actual scenes. In the meantime, this is probably my most famous character. It's NC supersized, and this first picture, this is Elbow Toe and Kid Zoom standing in front of the character. And what I've done is I created a little set of them and made a poster, and I pasted it up on the street. So this is kind of like a street art version of him. And who MC is I was thinking like I was doing billboards of McDonald's, and I was thinking what would Ronald McDonald look like if he actually ate at McDonald's. So, and this is just one I did on his 50th birthday. So here he is starting out like as a very young clown, and then here he is as like his dad. A couple of his girlfriends, a lot of his girlfriends. And then I made a series of paintings, but before I made the paintings, I went to a costume company in the Midwest that does costumes for football games, and so I had to make a Ronald mascot, and it's a suit that we carried around to different cities. So here we are in New York, and then once we took all the pictures, then I came back and I made paintings based on him. So like here he is in LA. And this is a strip along Sunset where all the mascots like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all those guys, like these guys dress up like them, and then you get your picture made with them, and you give them $5 or something. So here's Ronald with all the famous mascots. And when I was having this picture made, I gave money to all the mascots, but evidently I gave them too much money, so they all took their mask off and started kind of fighting over the money. And this was one of the most fun ones I did. Sometimes I work with a group in San Francisco called the Billboard Liberation Front, and I do like hundreds and hundreds of billboards, but I just drive around and I just kind of treat it as if this is my job, and we do it in the middle of the day, and then we split the scene, but we don't make like a big deal out of it. But with these guys, they always have some diversion ready to happen in case the cops come by. And they also have a lot of people that work security, and it's really just a lot of their friends, and they walk around with cell phones, and then they see the cops coming this way or that way. They can alert whoever's actually on the billboard. So this day was, we wanted to do one that had an animatronic element. So the Ronald is actually feeding the hamburgers to the little boy, like he's moving. And to do that, what we did is we came in the night before and rewired the billboard so that when we came in to actually do the billboard the next day, that we would have a place to plug in, our automatronic stuff. And we decided to do it on Memorial Day because, we can't avoid the cops. If they catch us, but we also don't want the billboard companies to ever spot us. So we thought, well, if we did it on a holiday, they would none of those guys would be at work. But it was really weird because, we pulled in and we pulled up to the parking lot, and we actually have a van that says Viacom, but the Viacom guys were actually there, so we didn't know what to do. We pulled around the corner, and we sat there, and then our guys on the phone across the street were, calling us and say, they're still there. So we didn't know if, the Billboard Liberation Front always sends out a press release, but they always do it after the event and after everybody's escaped. And this time somebody inadvertently had sent it out in advance, so we were thinking maybe that somehow the Billboard company knew and they were watching for us. But anyway, finally we got the call, they said the guy's gone, and we thought, well, okay, let's just do it. So we pulled in, and we did the whole thing. And there's a weird thing that happens when you're doing this kind of stuff. You know, you work with these guys a lot, and if anybody feels the slightest bit weird, we just leave. And so we had one more element that we were going to put at the top that just said, you know, English BLF. And I got spooked at that last minute, and I said, let's just go. So we jumped on our van, we drove out, and as we drove out one side of the parking lot, the police drove into the other side of the parking lot. And then as soon as the cops showed up, we had 50 Ronalds all hiding in the bushes across the street. So they all flooded the scenes, and we climbed into the back of the vans and we put on our Ronald suits and just kind of merged into the crowd. And the police were going, who did this? And everybody goes, well, it was one of the Ronalds. And so finally the Ronalds are running all around. There's some McDonald's across the street. And then we realized like more police are showing up. And so Jack, the guy from the BLF, you know, calls up one of the security guys and says, well, we have a bar down the street. Let's run all the Ronalds down the alley to the bar. And then, you know, get them out of the scene because it looks like at some point one of us is going to get arrested. And so we're all at the bar, you know, drinking whiskey, and then we get a call from the scene. He says, now there's like about 5 paddy wagons here, the fire department's here, and now the police have decided they're just going to arrest anybody in a Ronald suit, and they're starting to go door to door trying to figure out where the hell all the Ronalds went. So for about the next 15 minutes, the BLF, these guys are great. They had cars that were circling around out front. We were like wiping the makeup off the Ronalds and de-Ronalding them, taking off their suits, and rushing them out the door like 2 at a time. And we could see the police like coming up the street, going to business. And finally, as the police got to where we were at, there were only 2 people left. It was just me and Jack, and we wiped each other's faces off and rolled up our suits. And we actually were walking out the door, and the police were pushing us out of the way to get in to catch the Ronalds. But anyway, everybody got away. It was a lot of fun. So here's a few more appearances of Ronald. Here he is. And then here he is kind of at the Last Supper. And something that I like to do in my paintings, because I figure if somebody's going to buy like a big painting, you know, it's going to be in the house a long time, and I like to have a lot of like really interesting things going on kind of in the background, so that like maybe you can have some new experience with a painting every day or every other day. And then like when I have a show, I try to make one piece somehow relate to the next piece. So like in the same show, another painting from the show is what you just saw in the background. And what I'm doing here is like, years ago I painted Guernica with Disney and Warner Brothers, and then I kind of developed this obsession with the painting Guernica. And also the thing that happens when you're an artist and you have different art shows, the different dealers will say, well, you're doing an art show with me, is there any way you could do like Guernica? You know, a version of Guernica. So I kind